Have you ever noticed how easily people use friendship as a weapon? How they drape themselves in loyalty and concern, only to betray you the moment it serves them? Machiavelli understood this well. The first type of person you must never trust is the one who flatters you excessively. The flatterer is not your friend. He is your mirror, designed to reflect back exactly what you want to see, so you drop your guard. He studies you carefully, learns your fears, your ambitions, your vanity, and he feeds them back to you in gentle tones and affirmations that make you feel invincible. But understand this: flattery is not kindness, it is strategy. The flatterer does not admire you, he wants to use you, and the more you crave his praise, the easier you are to control. Machiavelli warned rulers that the most dangerous men in court were not the open enemies who disagreed, but the agreeable ones who whispered approval in every ear. Why? Because disagreement sharpens you, but blind praise dulls you. When you are surrounded by yes men, you stop questioning yourself. You lose the edge that makes you alert to danger. The flatterer's goal is simple: to disarm your suspicion and place you in a state of dependence. You begin to rely on his approval for your confidence, and in doing so, you give him power over you. It is a subtle form of domination, a conquest of your mind disguised as loyalty. And once you have been softened by his words, he will ask for what he truly wants: your help, your secrets, your resources. Consider how often people confuse being liked with being safe. You think that someone who admires you will never betray you. But the truth is that admiration is a volatile currency. It can be purchased cheaply, and it can be spent even faster. The flatterer will tell you what you want to hear because it costs him nothing and buys him everything: your trust, your time, your protection. He has no need to fight you when you are willing to fight yourself to preserve the illusion he built. You will defend him to others, even when your intuition screams that something is off, because you want to believe his version of you, the perfect, admirable, strong leader who is beyond reproach. This is why flattery is so seductive. It appeals to the deepest human need for significance, the need to be seen, valued, validated, the need to silence your own doubts. Machiavelli did not say you should reject praise entirely, but that you must suspect it when it is excessive, unearned, or too consistent. True allies will challenge you. They will tell you the uncomfortable truths you don't want to hear. They will risk your displeasure to preserve your clarity. But the flatterer will never risk anything. He will sacrifice your strength to maintain his access to you. And when you finally see through him, it will be too late. Your secrets will be exposed, your weaknesses mapped, your defenses dismantled. Look carefully at the people around you, who always agrees with you, who never questions your decisions, who showers you with compliments without substance. These are not signs of loyalty, they are red flags. Because loyalty is tested in conflict, not agreement. And anyone who avoids conflict with you entirely is avoiding the one thing that can prove they care: telling you the truth when it hurts. A flatterer would rather see you fail while smiling at you than risk your anger by being honest. Understand the psychology at play here. He is not interested in your success, only in what your success can do for him. Machiavelli understood that rulers fell not because of their enemies outside the gates, but because of the false friends inside the palace. The flatterer creates an illusion of security while undermining it. He becomes indispensable as long as you believe him. He knows that your ego is the key to your kingdom, so he polishes it every day until you forget that your true power lies in doubt, in caution, in the constant testing of your own ideas. Once you abandon those, you are his to guide, to influence, to exploit. And when disaster comes, he will not be there to defend you. He will have already found another to flatter. You must learn to see flattery as an attack in disguise. The subtlety of it is its power. No one fears the one who praises them, but they should. Because he who flatters you owns you in ways an enemy never can. An enemy forces you to prepare, to strengthen your defenses. The flatterer convinces you that you have no need for defenses at all. And so you lay them down willingly, believing yourself safe. That is the great danger. Not that you are attacked, but that you invite the attacker in and offer him a seat at your table. You let him watch you undress your fears, your hopes, your plans, and he smiles all the while. Ask yourself, who in your life has never told you no? Who makes you feel invincible without reason? Who is always there with the right word at the right moment, but never with real sacrifice? That is your flatterer. That is the person you must never trust. because trust is not built on praise but on truth, and truth is rarely flattering. The one who flatters you is not your friend, he is your handler, and if you do not learn to suspect his praise, you will be bound by it. As Machiavelli taught, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But it is worst of all to be loved falsely, for that love is the most poisonous of all. There is another type you must never trust, perhaps even more insidious than the flatterer, the eternal victim. This person wraps themselves in weakness and misfortune like a cloak, drawing your sympathy, your help, your protection. At first you feel noble for helping them. They are vulnerable, misunderstood, mistreated by the world. But Machiavelli would tell you, beware of those who constantly present themselves as victims, for they are often masters of emotional manipulation. Their power lies in your pity. They know that most people cannot resist the urge to rescue, to fix, to save. And once they have hooked you with their tragedy, they have you where they want you, invested, obligated, compliant. Understand this. Pity is a powerful currency. It buys loyalty without earning it. The victim does not need to prove themselves capable or worthy. They only need to remain in distress. Every time you help them, you deepen your own commitment. You feel responsible for them. Guilty if you withdraw, and they know this. They learn which strings to pull, which tears to shed, which stories to tell. Machiavelli saw that human nature is deeply susceptible to the theatrics of suffering. It disarms judgment, blinds us to character. We overlook deceit, laziness, selfishness, so long as it is framed as misfortune. The victim learns to wield this blindness like a weapon. They do not command you by fear, but by guilt. They remind you constantly of all you have that they do not. They demand your time, your energy, your resources, always with the subtle undertone that you owe it to them. And if you dare to set a boundary, they accuse you of cruelty. They make you question your own decency. How dare you abandon them in their time of need? How can you live with yourself if you turn away? These questions are not honest appeals. They are shackles, designed to keep you in service. Machiavelli would tell you to look beyond their words to their patterns. The true victim wants change. They seek solutions, they show gratitude, they strive to rise, but the manipulative victim rejects all solutions that threaten their power. They do not want to be helped, they want to be served, because in service, you give without expectation. You do not hold them accountable. You excuse their failures, their betrayals, their manipulations, because they have suffered so much. This is the perfect cover for exploitation. You become so invested in their pain that you overlook the harm they cause you. Consider the people who always have a crisis, whose lives are perpetually in ruins, whose misfortunes seem endless and strangely convenient when you try to walk away. Notice how they magnify your smallest mistake while demanding forgiveness for their gravest errors. How they paint themselves as wounded innocents while casting you as the heartless villain if you do not comply. This is not need, it is strategy. It is an economy of pity in which they trade their helplessness for your servitude. And the price is always your peace. What makes them dangerous is that their power is voluntary. You give it to them freely. You offer your energy, your resources, your protection, believing it is your choice. But it isn't. It is a compulsion they carefully cultivate. They create emotional debt you can never repay. Every act of kindness becomes proof that you are responsible for their survival, and so they keep you close, always a step away from guilt, always ready to remind you of your duty. Machiavelli knew that rulers who gave too much charity to the undeserving weakened their states. He would say the same of you. Your pity can be used to drain you of your strength. Ask yourself, who in your life is always suffering but never changing? Who demands your help yet resents your advice? Who makes you feel cruel for wanting to rest? These are the signs of the eternal victim. They are not looking for partnership, but for dependence. Not seeking healing, but the power to keep you in their orbit. And when you finally set a boundary, they will not thank you for your honesty. They will curse you for your betrayal. Because your refusal breaks the spell. It exposes the lie at the heart of their story, that they are helpless, and they will do anything to keep you from seeing that truth. Beware of confusing compassion with obligation. Compassion is freely given. Obligation is extracted through manipulation. True kindness empowers others to stand on their own. False kindness chains you to their weakness. Machiavelli would advise you to be generous but shrewd, to help the deserving but avoid the parasite. Because the victim who refuses to change is not your responsibility, and the moment you believe it is, you are no longer free. You are a resource to be harvested, a protector to be guilted, a tool to be wielded against yourself. Remember this: you owe nothing to those who refuse to help themselves. Your time, your energy, your peace are precious. Spend them on those who value them. Give to those who grow from your giving. And when you see someone weaponizing their pain to control you, withdraw. Let them call you heartless. Let them call you selfish. Better that than lose yourself in their endless tragedy. For in the end, the true cruelty is not refusing to save them, it is allowing them to drag you both into the abyss. Now let us speak of the third type of person you must never trust: the perpetual rival cloaked as an ally. Machiavelli knew there is no poison so subtle as friendship laced with envy. This is the one who stands at your side while secretly resenting your every success, the one who cheers your victories with clenched teeth. They will not openly oppose you, that would be too easy to detect. Instead, they embed themselves in your circle, learning your plans, your weaknesses, your dreams. They offer advice that leads you astray, support that arrives too late, and encouragement that steers you toward ruin while sounding like wisdom. They are the counterfeit friend whose true loyalty is to their own ego. Recognize the signs. They minimize your achievements with faint praise or backhanded compliments. They disguise their jealousy as concern, warning you that you aim too high, that you risk too much. But understand this: their fear is not for your failure, but for your success. For every victory of yours is a mirror to their inadequacy. They cannot bear to see you rise because it exposes the stagnation in their own life. So they sabotage you, softly, carefully, always with a smile. Machiavelli would say this is the most dangerous enemy of all, the enemy who has convinced you he is your friend. These people are masters of positioning. They place themselves close enough to influence your choices but distant enough to deny responsibility when you fall. If you succeed despite them, they will claim credit for your triumph. If you fail following their counsel, they will wash their hands of blame. They study your moods, your ambitions, your insecurities, using them as tools to shape your path to their advantage. Their loyalty is an illusion, a contract written in disappearing ink, and the moment your success threatens their comfort, they will choose themselves over you without hesitation. Ask yourself, who in your life always seems to question your plans under the guise of realism? Who celebrates you in public while cutting you down in private? Who insists they only want what's best for you, yet their advice always seems to limit you? This is not care, it is control, not friendship, but rivalry. They want you small enough to need them, but never so large that you surpass them. And if you are blind to this dynamic, you will hand them the keys to your fate. You will let them guide you off your path, all while thanking them for their help. Machiavelli understood that power attracts envy, as flame attracts moths. Those closest to you are often the most threatened by your ascent because they must witness it up close. The rival in disguise will tell you that true friends speak hard truths, but theirs are not truths, only limits. They will say they are protecting you from disappointment, but what they protect is their own fragile self-image. And when you listen, you will begin to shrink, to doubt, to compromise, because you trust them, because you think their caution is wisdom when it is only fear wearing a mask. There is a cruelty in such relationships that is difficult to detect because it is so patient. The rival in disguise does not need to destroy you quickly. They will poison you drop by drop over years if needed. They will be there for your small failures to comfort you and ensure you never try again. They will remember every weakness you confess, storing it away like ammunition. They will make you dependent on their approval, all while despising you for needing it, and you will feel it, even if you cannot name it, a chill in their congratulations, a hesitation in their praise, a flicker of pleasure in your pain. Beware the friend who cannot celebrate your victories without reminding you of your flaws, who turns every conversation back to themselves, who offers support only when it benefits their image. This is not friendship, but quiet competition. And Machiavelli would tell you that the wise ruler keeps such people at arm's length. You must test them not with words, but with your success. Watch how they react when you rise. Watch their eyes, their silences, their sudden absences. True friends will cheer you without envy. Rivals will choke on your triumph. Do not be naive about human nature. Envy is the shadow that follows every success. It grows darker the closer people stand to your light, and the rival in disguise will use your own trust against you. Better to have open enemies than hidden ones. At least the enemy declares himself. The rival pretends love while sharpening the knife. And the only defense against such betrayal is vigilance. Withdraw your secrets. Guard your ambitions. Trust slowly. Observe always. For those who envy you will never stop trying to humble you. If you wish to keep your freedom, you must be prepared to walk alone rather than lean on those who resent your strength. It is better to face the discomfort of solitude than the slow death of compromise. Remember, your success does not depend on universal approval. It depends on your clarity, your discipline, your refusal to apologize for your own assent. Let them call you arrogant. Let them call you ungrateful. Better that than live on your knees before those who hate to see you stand. This is the price of sovereignty. Pay it gladly. Now we must speak of the fourth type of person you must never trust, the charming opportunist. Machiavelli understood that the world is filled with those who see every connection, every kindness, every moment of vulnerability as an opportunity to advance their own interests. This person does not hide behind flattery alone, nor do they cry victim to win your pity. They seduce you with competence, charisma, and shared goals. They know how to read you, mirror you, become exactly what you want in an ally or partner. They will speak your language, echo your values, and promise loyalty, but beneath it all is a single question they are always asking themselves: what can I get from you? The danger of the opportunist lies in their adaptability. They have no fixed principles, only shifting strategies. They will swear allegiance to you while your star is rising, only to abandon you the moment the wind changes. Machiavelli warned that such men make terrible allies in times of crisis. They are loyal only to advantage. When things go well, they are your greatest supporters. They sing your praises, work tirelessly by your side, offer help before you even ask. But watch them when trouble arrives. Their true nature is revealed in adversity. When your power to reward them is weakened, when your approval has less value, then they vanish, or worse, they turn against you to secure their own safety. Consider how this type of person operates. They study your ambitions, your fears, your blind spots. They make themselves indispensable, so you lower your guard. You begin to rely on them, to value their presence, to consult them on your plans. But they are not there to serve you. They are there to position themselves for the moment they can claim the spoils. Their loyalty is transactional, their friendship a ledger of debts and credits. Every favor is an investment with interest. Every shared secret is leverage for later. And if you are careless, you will mistake their calculated generosity for true allegiance. Ask yourself, who in your life always seems to show up when things are going well but disappears when you struggle? Who offers help with one hand while recording your vulnerabilities with the other? Who reminds you of all they have done for you whenever you hesitate to comply with their requests? These are the opportunists. They excel at gratitude theater, making you feel ungrateful if you do not repay them in kind, even when their initial help was offered with strings attached. They know how to create obligation without appearing to demand it. And you, wanting to be fair, to be good, to honor your debts, comply. Machiavelli would counsel you to see through this charade. He understood that such people are the first to betray a prince when the kingdom weakens. He would say, trust those who stand with you when you have nothing to offer them, when you are under attack. When your fortunes are low, anyone can be loyal in times of abundance. It is loyalty in scarcity that reveals true allies. The opportunist cannot abide scarcity. Scarcity strips away their reasons to stay. They will seek new patrons, new alliances, often your rivals, because their only loyalty is to advantage itself. Do not be fooled by charm. Charm is a tool, not a virtue. It is how the opportunist hides their hunger. They will make you feel special, understood, valued, not because they truly see you, but because they want you to see them as essential. They cultivate a bond so you do not question their motives, so you hesitate to doubt them, so you defend them to others. But all the while they are calculating, assessing the moment they can shift their allegiance for better terms. And when that moment comes, they will not hesitate. They will explain away their betrayal as necessity, as pragmatism. They will claim you would have done the same. Beware the one who is too helpful without being asked, who anticipates your needs with uncanny precision, who positions themselves as your solution for every problem. This is not care, it is investment. You are being groomed to depend on them, to need them so much that you stop seeing the cost. They want you entangled, obligated, unable to make a move without considering them. And when they finally ask for their price, it will be too high. But by then you will feel you have no choice but to pay it. If you would be free, you must learn to recognize the opportunist and keep them at a distance. Do not be seduced by their enthusiasm or grateful for their unasked favors. Test them with denial. See how they react when you say no. Watch who remains when your fortunes decline. The true ally will stay, even if it costs them. The opportunist will vanish, or worse, join your enemies for a better offer. Machiavelli would say, better to have a small circle of proven allies than a crowd of smiling traitors. Better to walk alone than be led by one who would sell you for advantage. And so I ask you, who in your life has been too good to be true? Who has given without asking only to later collect with interest? Who praises you in private but distances themselves in public when you are under attack? These are the questions that will save you, for the opportunist is not merely a bad friend. He is a threat to your sovereignty, a parasite on your power. And if you would rule yourself, you must learn to say no to such bargains, however tempting they appear, because freedom is worth more than any favor, and true loyalty cannot be bought. Now we turn to the fifth type of person you must never trust, the unbridled reactor, the one who cannot control their emotions and whose volatility becomes a weapon against you. Machiavelli understood that stability in a ruler, or in any person seeking power, depends on the ability to command oneself before commanding others. But the unbridled reactor has no such mastery. They are slaves to their impulses, and worse, they expect you to be as well. They erupt in anger without warning, collapse into despair at the slightest setback, and demand that you join them in their chaos. They want you to mirror their storms, to fight their battles, to solve their crises, because as long as you are reacting with them, you cannot see clearly. Consider what it costs you to stay close to such people. Their volatility consumes your energy. You walk on eggshells, calculating every word to avoid setting them off. You offer endless reassurances, apologies, and concessions just to maintain peace. But peace is impossible with them because their true aim is not resolution, it is control. They control you not through reason or persuasion, but by destabilizing you emotionally. When they shout, you feel small. When they cry, you feel guilty. When they sulk, you feel responsible. It is a tyranny of mood, and every time you surrender to it, you surrender your power. Machiavelli warned that those who cannot master themselves are unfit to lead. He would say the same of your alliances, because the unbridled reactor is not just a burden, they are a liability. They will betray secrets in a fit of rage. They will sabotage plans because of wounded pride. They will turn allies into enemies with careless words. And when their destruction is complete, they will claim innocence, saying they couldn't help it, that you should have known how they are. This absolves them of responsibility while leaving you to clean the wreckage. Do not be fooled by their apologies or their tears. These are part of the cycle. Rage, regret, reconciliation, only to explode again. Ask yourself, who in your life punishes you with their moods? Who expects you to absorb their anger, their fear, their sadness without question? Who demands loyalty but offers no stability in return? These people are dangerous not because they plan your downfall, but because they make you vulnerable to it. While you manage their emotions, you neglect your own defenses. While you soothe their ego, you forget your own needs. And worst of all, you begin to mistake their volatility for passion, their outbursts for honesty. But understand this, truth does not need to shout. Integrity does not demand tears. These are performances, whether conscious or not, designed to keep you off balance. Machiavelli would tell you to observe carefully. Does this person escalate small conflicts into wars? Do they interpret disagreement as betrayal? Do they use their pain as leverage, their rage as a shield? These are not signs of authenticity but of manipulation. Because while they may lack the cunning of the flatterer or the opportunist, their unpredictability makes them just as controlling. You begin to live in reaction to them, predicting their moods, adapting your plans to their volatility. This is not partnership, it is servitude. What makes the unbridled reactor especially insidious is that they often frame themselves as honest. They claim they are simply being real, that they can't fake it like others. They will accuse you of being cold, detached, unfeeling, if you do not match their intensity. But true emotional honesty is measured, deliberate, capable of reflection. It seeks understanding, not domination. The reactor seeks submission, and they achieve it by making you fear their next explosion. In time, you will find yourself hiding your thoughts, avoiding topics, lying to keep the peace. You will have betrayed yourself in order to appease them. Beware also of how the unbridled reactor influences your reputation. Their chaos does not stay contained. They will involve you in their conflicts, drag your name through their dramas, use your loyalty as proof of your complicity. And when you try to leave, they will accuse you of abandonment, of betrayal, of cruelty. They will make you the villain in their story because it absolves them of growth. Machiavelli would say, better to be thought cruel for cutting them off than to be ruined by keeping them close. For in the end, you are responsible not just for your actions, but for the company you keep. If you wish to remain strong, you must be willing to withdraw from those who cannot govern themselves. Their lack of discipline will become your downfall if you let it. Set boundaries they cannot cross. Refuse to match their chaos. Practice silence in the face of provocation. Observe rather than react. Because power lies not in domination of others, but in mastery of oneself. And if they call you cold, so be it. Better to be cold and clear than warm and destroyed. Machiavelli knew that mercy to the ungoverned often becomes cruelty to the governed. So too in your life, mercy to the undisciplined becomes cruelty to yourself. So I ask you now, who in your life cannot control themselves? Who demands you sacrifice your peace for their comfort? Who turns every disagreement into a personal attack? Identify them, see them clearly, and understand, you owe them nothing but the courtesy of truth. And the truth is this: if they will not govern themselves, you must refuse to be governed by them. That is the price of freedom. Pay it without apology. Finally, we arrive at the sixth type of person you must never trust: the moral chameleon, the one who changes their principles to suit the moment, whose values bend in the wind of advantage. Machiavelli understood that stability depends not on rigid virtue but on consistent strategy. But the moral chameleon has no center at all. They will speak of loyalty while betraying confidences. They will preach integrity while cutting secret deals. They will champion justice while profiting from injustice. Their talent lies in appearing principled when it serves them, and discarding those same principles without hesitation when it does not. They are the masters of righteous theater, and their greatest weapon is your own desire to believe in them. Observe how they present themselves. They speak with conviction. They invoke ideals. They moralize about others' failures. They will judge the world harshly while excusing their own compromises. Their words are honey, their image spotless, but their actions reveal only opportunism. When they need you, they will frame it as a shared cause, appealing to your sense of justice, duty, loyalty. When you resist, they will guilt you, question your ethics, suggest you are selfish or cowardly. And when they have no more need of you, they will vanish without explanation, or worse, turn against you to prove their own virtue to others. Machiavelli would say such people are dangerous, not because they lack principles, but because they weaponize them. They understand that moral language is persuasive. It confuses, disarms, silences. To accuse them is to appear petty, cynical, unkind, so they move through the world unchallenged, performing goodness while doing whatever benefits them. And those who call them out are painted as the real villains, jealous, cruel, untrustworthy, because the moral chameleon thrives on public approval. They are always cultivating an audience, always telling the story in which they are the hero, the victim, the saint. And you, if you are not careful, become the convenient antagonist in that story. Ask yourself, who in your life moralizes the loudest? Who insists on telling you how to live while hiding their own contradictions? Who judges your failures with righteous fury, but demands endless understanding for their own? This is not integrity, it is manipulation. Because true integrity is humble, private, willing to admit its flaws. The chameleon cannot afford such honesty. Their entire strategy depends on appearing incorruptible, so they lie. Not always with words, but with omissions, with reframed narratives, with selective memory. They will remember every wrong you did while forgetting every wrong they committed. Consider how they behave when confronted. They do not apologize, they deflect. They do not reflect, they attack. They will claim you misunderstood them, that you are overreacting, that your accusation reveals your own flaws. If you persist, they will escalate, painting you as cruel or unstable. They will gather allies with whispers, retelling events in ways that make them look noble and you monstrous. This is their art, not just to avoid blame but to reverse it. And if you are naive, if you care too much about fairness, you will find yourself trying to prove your innocence in a trial whose verdict was decided before it began. Machiavelli would advise you to be vigilant with such people. Watch their consistency. Do they hold themselves to the same standards they demand of you? Do they speak the same in private as they do in public? Do they keep their promises when the cost rises? The moral chameleon cannot sustain true consistency because they have no true loyalty except to themselves. They will betray you the moment it offers them social credit, status, advantage, and they will do it with clean hands in the eyes of others, because they will have prepared the story in which they are justified, even righteous. Beware the one who always claims the moral high ground, who seems too pure, too flawless, too indignant about others' sins, because such posturing is not evidence of virtue, but of strategy. They know the world wants heroes, saints, victims, and they will play whichever role secures them power. They will tell you they hate gossip while spreading rumors about you. They will warn you about betrayal while arranging your downfall. And when you confront them, they will speak of forgiveness and growth, as long as you admit you were wrong and they were right. If you wish to remain free, you must learn to see through the performance. Do not be seduced by eloquence or high ideals. Watch what they do when no one is looking. Test their words against their actions. Demand consistency, not perfection. For the moral chameleon cannot bear scrutiny. They depend on your willingness to look away, to accept their version of events without question. And when you refuse, you become their enemy, not because you wronged them, but because you saw them clearly. So I ask you now, who in your life changes their values with their company? Who tells you what you want to hear while living by another code? Who moralizes endlessly but cannot tolerate judgment themselves? Identify them, see them without illusions, and understand, you owe them no loyalty, because loyalty given to the disloyal is not virtue but self-destruction. Machiavelli knew that power requires clarity, and clarity demands you strip away comforting lies, including the lie that all who speak of virtue are virtuous. For many use morality not as a guide but as a mask. And if you would remain sovereign, you must learn to see behind it. If you have made it this far, it's because a part of you is already prepared for this new path. A part of you understands that trust is not given freely, that protecting yourself means seeing people as they are, not as you wish them to be. You know now that true power begins when you choose discernment over comfort, even if it costs you relationships you once held close. Now tell me in the comments, are you ready to be seen as cold, distant, even ruthless in the name of your own clarity? Are you willing to pay the price of being free from manipulation, from false loyalty, from the chains of approval? If this message reached you, if it made sense, write in the comments, I choose my freedom. Let's see how many here are ready for this transition. And don't forget, keep watching the next video. It matters more than you realize. See you there.